The Bengals have found their next superstar. Mike Gesicki is posed to have a breakout season with already big superstars such as Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Burrow. This offense looks to be at top level and locked in for this 2025 season. Welcome to the jungle. This is Isaac Coffman from Bengals Digest. So glad to see you. And if you want to be up to date with all the breaking news, the notes as they come out, smash that subscribe if you have not already and join the discussion. There's so much to talk about in this offseason as we go into the new season with the Cincinnati Bengals. Well, there was a recent article that just came out. It was actually kind of interesting. It talked about how Mike Gesicki was ranked 27th in the eyes of one journalist. So that's interesting to me because Gesicki's not going to be your top level guy that you might see pulling in all the stats. But to me, when I saw this article, I immediately thought this is going to be big. This is going to be huge locker room material for Mike Gesicki. He seems like that guy that is just going to do whatever it takes for the team. If you listen to some of his quotes, there's actually one we'll get to here in a minute. But seeing that locker room, that poster board material is what they call it. I'm sure that's going to activate something in Mike Gesicki. And considering last year, he didn't have the spectacular stats, so that's understandable. Probably why they had him ranked. In fact, if you look at his stats, he was solid. He had 65 receptions, 665 receiving yards. He had 2 touchdowns, averaged about 10.2. They weren't these elite stats. But going back to when it comes to the Bengals, they've got Jamar Chase, they've got T. Higgins. You just need a guy that's going to be there like Gesicki was last year. I was very impressed with what he was able to do. He just signed a 3-year, $25.5 million deal. So he's going to be here for the next few years. So what does that mean for the Bengals? Well, he's only had 1 year under his belt. And you're talking that chemistry is just going to keep improving. It's going to keep getting better and better the more he plays with Joe Burrow. This is also the same guy that started out on the Dolphins. They franchise tagged him. He decided to move on and go to the Patriots on a 1 year. So this guy has been on multiple teams for the last few years. Last year, it felt like he was finally settling down. He was finally getting comfortable. And again, you got to factor in the Joe Burrow factor because he wanted to play with Joe Burrow. And again, this is just a sample size going back to last year, but you got to get excited, especially what he also brought out as well. This is a recent quote coming from Gesicki exactly along those lines. He says, I think the biggest thing is now that I'm in the same system, I'm not worrying about myself as much. I can concentrate on the defense more, and knowing Joe, I know I'm going to get that freedom out there. Wow. That's what you want to hear from this guy that, okay, I'm locked in. I'm ready to go. And that's what the Bengals need. If you look back, they've been kind of doing a revolving door of tight ends. Hayden Hurst was, I thought, a very solid one. I was sad to see him go. But getting him paired with Joe Burrow, it's got me excited. Gesicki's saying as much because that was a thought I had was the first year we've got to take it with a sample size. He's going to be getting used to the system. When you go to multiple teams, you have to factor that in. There's new systems. There's new players. They have different timing. But it just felt like there was something there with Joe Burrow. Gesicki and him just really seemed to click. There were times where Chase would get double, triple teamed. And Gesicki was that safety blanket on third down on that crucial play. Gesicki proved to be true. That's got me excited. We are fans. We like to look at stats. We like to look at this or that. So to me, this is just maybe a me thing, but I feel like seeing him rank so low, that's going to ignite a fire. He plays with so much passion too. He's becoming a fan favorite, honestly. I kind of have that feeling. I know he's becoming one of my favorites. A game that we went to last year was the Ravens game, and the Bengals tried to go for 2 points on extra points. And what had happened, it was against the Ravens. It got tipped and intercepted. They were about to return it. Who was the guy that chased him down? It was more than a football field length because he was zigzagging, he was going through and got him all the way almost into the end zone, but stopped him. It was Gesicki. This guy's got a lot of heart. When you watch him play, he is very much a team first guy. He's very passionate. You got to have those guys. You got to have them along with your Jamar Chases. That's something that's got me excited, is that's going to take a little bit off of Chase, because as good as Chase is, you got to still have these complementary pieces. And they certainly have that with Higgins. Higgins is another guy that, if Chase is going to be double, triple teamed on those games, you have Higgins. But defenses are going to start figuring things out. We have to just think about this. They're always looking to improve. They're going to figure out players. And what you got to do is you got to keep up with them. How do you do that? Well, you got to have more than just your Jamar Chases and your T. Higgins of the world. You need to have more weapons. You got to have them. And Gesicki, again, going back to, is he going to be your George Kittles of the world or Travis Kelce's? No, that's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is it's got me excited because I think he's kind of the sleeper player. I think people forget about Gesicki and what he brings to this team and why you need that. Again, you can have Jamar Chase, you can have T. Higgins and Joe Burrow. They're going to have their games where they just take over. But sometimes defenses do have their days where they have things figured out. And it could be maybe those players have off days. It happens. We're human. So what do? You have players like Gesicki that are going to be able to come in and just lock in, just take that pressure off. And I feel like that quote, that's got me really excited because it feels like that's how he feels too. That was a feeling I was getting of, okay, now this is year 2. Now you can take it to the next step. You can kind of relax a little bit, because if you come into a new team, you got to think about it. You probably have that pressure on you. And at times I felt like Gesicki had that in certain games where there was a little bit more pressure on him. He was maybe it wasn't his day, maybe because of that. But hearing that, getting this practice in, seeing him get that chemistry with Joe Burrow, how can you not get excited? We've already got this elite offense with Jamar Chase coming off of a triple crown. I mean, he's electric. What can we say? And he's going to be a center, the core of this offense. But don't forget about guys like Gesicki. Gesicki is a must-have. If you are going to go into the playoffs, you've got to have all hands on deck. You've got to have every single possible player that can contribute. Because, again, if you're a one-trick pony where you're just going to be relying on your Chase and your Higgins, the defenses are going to figure you out. That's something you got to consider. So stay tuned for this. I thought actually positive. When you see that article of him being ranked 27th out of 32, well, what's the big deal? What's going on? But when you see that from Gesicki, I feel like he's going to be a sleeper. So keep an eye on him. He might be another top candidate for Joe Burrow. He might be that go-to guy. Again, that chemistry, it's undeniable. When you're watching them, you can see Joe Burrow is really clicking. Obviously, he has that with Chase. He has that with Higgins. But watch out. He gets that with Gesicki. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch. But we want to hear from you. Are you excited to see what Gesicki can do in this 2025 season? We want to hear from you. Comment below. And again, if you have not already, smash that subscribe button so you'll be all up to date on Bengals Digest and as new videos come out. That's going to do it for now, guys. As we say, Hoo day.